What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are on my favorite website, top three favorite websites, Spotrac, Spot Track. I don't really know what you guys call it. I call it Spot Track. Um, and we're going to be looking through some free agents today and how it's going to affect the NFL draft. So, I wanted to wait until a lot of the signings happen. I didn't really want to go day by day because it's just a lot to track. So, we're going to start out at the quarterback position and just kind of talk it through some of these. So, Derek Carr went to the New Orleans Saints. I really like Jameis Winston there, but I think Derek Carr is a step up, honestly. It gave him a lot of money, but I didn't think they don't have a first round pick, so it's not like they were going after a quarterback anyway. So this is going to fill their quarterback need for right now. I really like that pick. Jimmy Garoppolo to Las Vegas. I feel like you're just going from Derek Carr to handsome Derek Carr. I've seen that meme around, but it's true. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr are very, very similar. Um, and I think you went from paying Derek Carr whatever. I think it was like $30 million. And then you had to cut him, and you had to eat a bunch of his cap, and then now you're paying Derek Carr, handsome version Jimmy G, $24 million on top of what you're paying Derek Carr still. So I don't really understand it, but that's okay. Again, he fits the system, right? Because it's Josh McDaniel. Jimmy Garoppolo was under Josh McDaniel at New England, so it kind of makes sense. He wanted a guy that was more comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Taylor Heineke to Atlanta, I really, really like that. A guy that his playing style is kind of similar to Desmond Ritter's. A guy that can kind of push Desmond Ritter, but you're not looking at a guy who is really threatening. I love Taylor Heineke, and I think if he has to step in, he's going to do a fine job. But um, that's a good one. Again, the rest of these guys are all just backup quarterbacks. After those first two, and obviously guys having to re-sign their guys. Lamar Jackson's still out there. Aaron Rodgers is still out there. But looking at just free agents is kind of it. After this, it's all a bunch of backups. Mike White to Miami, Case Keenum to Houston, Mariota to Philly. I actually kind of like that one. I think he fits the scheme of the running quarterback better than Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew had to play a couple weeks in there, and it kind of took the quarterback running dynamic out of it, and it kind of threw off the whole quarterback system. Sam Darnold to San Francisco. I think he might start week one. That's something to look out for. Is I think he might start week one. Baker Mayfield to Tampa Bay. Him versus Kyle Trask versus whoever they bring in at quarterback as a rookie. Um, I don't know. I honestly, Baker's okay. I would rather just go with Kyle Trask. And if Kyle Trask is good, great. If Kyle Trask is not good, okay, guess what? Caleb Williams or Drake May next year. You get a high draft pick. Again, you scalped that whole offensive line. I don't really understand this Baker Mayfield. I would have rather seen them get a guy like, I don't know, Nick Mullins. Just the guy that I'm looking at over there. Or, Carson Wentz maybe. Or how about a Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco would be nice. Just a backup quarterback. I don't want a guy like Baker Mayfield who's a fringe starter. I want to see what Kyle Trask has, and if he has nothing, then that's fine. We're going for a quarterback in the draft. So that's the quarterback breakdown. Let's look at running backs because this is a good one. They had a bunch of running backs in this one. Detroit does not re-sign Jamal Williams. I was a little surprised about that. Instead, they sign David Montgomery, right? Yeah, David Montgomery, and you give him, an extra $2 million per year. It was a little surprising. I thought Jamal Williams did well. David Montgomery's going to do the same exact thing. He's got a little bit better hands than Jamal Williams, but nothing much. They're kind of the same running back. So that was a little surprising. But New Orleans got Jamal Williams, who can kind of be, remember what Mark Ingram was to Alvin Kamara the first couple years Alvin Kamara was in there. They're kind of going to do that same thing with Jamal Williams, being that Mark Ingram mold. I really, really like that. On top of Alvin Kamara might be in some legal trouble still, so he might get suspended for a couple games. So Jamal Williams is a guy that can carry the load. I like that a lot. Miles Sanders to Carolina. I really like this. I I think they're going to draft another running back, but Miles Sanders to be your RB1 slash RB2, depending on who they draft. Really, really like that. I don't think they have to make that a priority in the draft now, but I think, fourth round, fifth round, they're going to get another guy. Maybe a Roschon Johnson. Roschon Johnson and Miles Sanders tandem would be very, very nice. Samaje Perine, blah, blah, blah. Alexander Mattison got re-signed. Awesome. Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert gets re-signed. That's great. James Robinson goes to New England. I mean, didn't they just have Damian Harris and let him go to Buffalo? I mean, I don't understand that. You paid James Robinson $2 million and let Damian Harris walk. Signed a 1-year, $1.77 million deal. Damian Harris is better than James Robinson. He can do more. I like him a lot more than James Robinson. And you let him go to a division rival for less money. Right? Chicago brings in Deontay Foreman to kind of fill that David Montgomery role. But Rashad Penny, this is probably the best one. You get rid of Miles Sanders, who I think is really good, who signs a $6.25 million deal per year, and then you bring in a guy who probably, if he's healthy, is 98% of what Miles Sanders is in Rashad Penny for $1.3 million for $5 million less. I love this. This is probably one of the best things. Howie Roseman is the greatest general manager of all time. Even when he misses, he quickly adapts and does great. So Chase Edmonds signed into Tampa Bay. I don't really like that at all. Ronald Jones. Again, Ronald Jones isn't going to do anything. Signs a 1-year deal in Dallas. Again, none of these things really do anything for me, except for Damian Harris to Buffalo. Now Buffalo has him. They traded Zach Moss, but they still have like Nyheim Hines, and then they have James Cook, who they just drafted last year. So they probably will not be in the Bijan running. What else? Nothing else really here. Let's go ahead and go quickly to the wide receivers. We might have to split this up into a couple because I think we're running kind of long here. Allen Lazard, that's gross. Signed for $11 million. All in the hopes to get Aaron Rodgers. Jacoby Myers, again, $11 million is a good one. Juju Smith-Schuster signs for $8.5 million to New England to replace Jacoby Myers. Whatever. Adam Thielen, I don't really understand it. Whatever. Robert Woods signs a $7.6 million deal. Again, I don't really like any of these wide receivers, and look at their deals. I mean, $11 million for some of these guys. Mecole Hardman signs with the Jets for 4.5. All right, cool. Man, Darius Slayton re-signs a 2-year deal, $6 million per year. I don't really. He was okay productive, but he wasn't that productive. Let that man walk. I mean, let him walk. Look, you got Paris Johnson down here. You could have signed that can do the same exact thing for 4.7, or you can go even lower. You could go even lower and get someone else. I don't know, man. These guys like their own guys. Nothing here stops me from drafting anyone in this wide receiver market, other than the wide receivers not being great. Tight ends, I don't really care. Let's look at offensive linemen. Let's do offensive line as a whole, and then we'll do a second one where we talk about defense. All right. Mike McGlinchey, $17.5 million. He earned it. I really like Mike McGlinchey. I think he's going to do really well in Denver. Sadly, San Francisco couldn't hold on to him, but a 5-year, $87.5 million deal. Man, good for him. That's awesome. Denver, they don't have a first-round pick, so this helps them not have to worry about trading up to get a tackle. Jawan Taylor signs a 4-year, $80 million deal, $20 million per year, and I heard that he is probably going to be switching to the left side to take over for Orlando Brown Jr., and he's never played left tackle before. At Cocoa, he played right tackle. Cocoa High School, when he played high school. He played left tackle when he went to Florida. Right tackle. When he went to Florida, he played right tackle. Jacksonville, his whole time, he played right tackle. And he's not that great at pass protection. He's more of a run a mauler. He's a good mauler, and I think he's a really good right tackle. But $20 million a year and to switch his sides is just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. But what do I know? These guys, uh, Veach knows what he's talking about. So let's see. And again, that's so disrespectful. Look, you could have re-signed Orlando Brown Jr. for 16. You pay $4 million per year more to a guy that's never played left tackle to go be your left tackle. That kind of speaks volumes of what they thought about Orlando Brown. Ben Powers, a guard for Baltimore, goes to Denver. 12 and a half is, or 12.875 is a lot of freaking money for a guard. But I think Ben Powers is really good. Caleb McGarry, really, really good for Atlanta. Started late, was a kind of a late bloomer with that, with his last 2 years being really good. But he earned that contract. Atlanta solidified that as awesome. Andre Dillard goes to Tennessee. I don't think he's going to play left tackle. I think they're going to draft a guy, probably Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones with that number 11 pick. But this gives them options. It's $10 million a year for 3 years. It's nothing terrible. He's a proven guy. You can move him inside worst case. Siamalu only gets $8 million a year. He's really, really good. I like him. Andrew Wiley as well. So Siamalu goes to Pittsburgh. They're not going to have to reach on any guards. I still think that they need to hit up another tackle early in this draft in first or second round. Get up one of these tackles, and then also get one more interior guy. But this is solid. Washington, I don't really like Wiley that much. And the rest of these guys are just Jason Kelce, good for you. Coming back for one more year. Let's get Jason Kelce a second freaking championship with Philly, please. Riley Reef goes to New England. Yeah. Jermaine Illuminor finally does something good. He's playing right tackle for them. I think he needs to go inside the guard. He's a better guard. I don't know why they want to push him back out to tackle other than they don't have someone. Put him back in at guard. Let this man play. Let this man play at a high level. He played at a high level at right guard, and then they had to push him out to right tackle because Leatherwood just is not good. But yeah, this was a pretty good tackle class. A bunch of right tackles. Again, there were a few guards, but it's pretty solid, and they got paid. So we will not do defense. We will do defense next time. Probably coming up on Sunday, I would say. We'll put the defense out. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you didn't, sorry. It was kind of just me rambling. But I wanted to at least go through some of these guys and just get in my head as well as your heads the new teams that some of these guys are playing for, just so when we do our mock draft on Monday, as well as when we're going into watching the NFL draft, we're not confused, and we can kind of make adjustments of what teams have already filled out, and so they aren't going to have to reach on positions. Like, again, Mike McGlinchey going to Denver, now they don't have to look for a right tackle in the draft, especially since they don't have a first-round pick. So all in all, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me know what your favorite free agency pickup was in the comments down below. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and we will have more to come over the next couple weeks because it's draft season, baby. All right, have a good day, and peace.